Good morning, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Nick Fry. I'm the Manager of Business Development with Tourism Nova Scotia, and today's webinar is on performance analysis using AI. So thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to join us. For those of you joining us for the first time, this webinar series is run by Tourism Nova Scotia, a division of Communities, Culture, Tourism, and Heritage with the province, and we also offer this in partnership and collaboration with Digital Nova Scotia. So throughout this webinar, we really would encourage you to put your Q&A at the bottom, ask any questions. These webinars are so much better when we have great questions and a robust discussion. So please do so. If you think of something later on, that's also great. Send us an email and we'll make sure we get you the answer. Any links and resources or software we talk about or Agility talks about throughout their presentation, we'll share that after the fact. So you don't need to go and try to download software during the webinar. We just like you to be here, present, and just really participate fully. We will be sharing a copy of this webinar within 24 hours. So, and if we go over 11, if you need to, share it with a colleague, if you think it's really relevant and you'd like to let someone else know about it, it will be available to share after the fact. I'm hoping you joined us today through Digiport. Digiport's one of a kind for Canada. It's an opportunity for tourism businesses to receive and activate on digital services, professional help. There's one-on-one services, there's program information. So if you haven't joined up to Digiport yet, please do so. We offer this in collaboration with Digital Nova Scotia. You log in, get your own password. Hopefully then you'll know about the webinars, you'll know about our upcoming programming. You can access tip sheets on really relevant topics. You can also book one-on-ones on with over 50 digital service providers to discuss whatever concern you may be having. So if you're not signed up for Digiport, please do so. Now, without further ado, I'd like to welcome Melissa Lloyd to the presentation today. She has over 25 years of creativity and design and 7+ years in mindfulness and emotional intelligence training. So very broad. Melissa has focused on the AI since 2022, which, given how prevalent it's become, that's been a long time, Melissa, specializing in large language models like ChatGPT. Melissa is an accomplished entrepreneur, brings excellence as a keynote speaker for many Fortune 500 companies across various industries. She's presented to us at Digital Days and has presented here before. Melissa she provides keynote speeches around AI mindset, literacy, integration, enthusiasm, along with her AI certification. Her human approach makes AI accessible because it can be really daunting when you try to start to get into AI. She inspires confidence and integration with a positive, forward-thinking mindset, ensuring lasting impact and innovation. And when I asked Melissa, like, what sets you apart or what makes you passionate and how do you help people? And she just said she makes things as humanly simple as possible, which is the keyword, being human. So she makes things seamless, and that's what we really want to. As businesses, we want to understand, how can I use this new software and technology to help me in my business? And that's what Melissa helps you do. So I encourage Melissa to take over the screen here. If you have any questions, put them in the chat, and looking forward to Melissa's presentation.
Hello, everybody. It's Melissa here. Hopefully everybody can see
We can see and hear you. It's great.
Okay, this is good. I can see everything. Perfect. Okay. So I thank you very much, Nick, for the great introduction, and thank you for Tourism Nova Scotia and Digital Nova Scotia for having me here today. I am thrilled because, yes, we will be looking into using AI to analyze the effectiveness of social media campaigns. And I want to kick off with something that's really, really powerful, that oftentimes when we are, specifically around travelers, 81% say that social media influences their travel decisions. And I just want you to really think about that. So your social media post could be the reason that someone chooses your tour or books your hotel or maybe visits your restaurant or explores your destination. But I also know that keeping up with social media, it can feel absolutely overwhelming. So that's why we are here today. So what if you do have, you had that helper that could tell you which posts are bringing in more bookings, or maybe showing, when your audience is more likely to engage, or help you understand what campaigns really work. Well, that's what AI tools can really do for you. And I want to, again, just before I dive in further, I help entrepreneurs right across the board and businesses build that the right AI mindset and really boost your confidence through AI education. I think that's really important right now. I'm really excited to be able to walk you through this content today. And if you're worried that, oh, it might be too overwhelming, I'm not a techie, Melissa, you don't have to be. That's the beautiful thing, because by the end of the webinar, you're going to see how, simple kind of strategies, or being able to find what you're looking for, where you're looking for AI specific, being able to kind of have AI do the heavy lifting. It's not as complicated as you think. Now, I am going to, I like to keep things engaging as we go through. So we will be using menti.com. If you can, go to menti.com, say in a different browser, just all you have to do is go menti.com and then just put in this code. I'm also going to be putting it in the chat. This just helps it make a little bit more of an engaging environment for us to go in and kind of hear from all of you. So it's in the chat, menti.com. You can also just be able to hold your phone up on the screen and click that barcode and open up and put that code in. Now, if you get a screen that says the presentation hasn't started yet, you're in the perfect spot. So don't worry. So everybody give me a thumbs up once you're in there. Let me know in the chat. Yes, I have been able to access Menti. I think it's really important because it does create that engagement. I see that we've got 3 people in. They actually found the right hand at the bottom, that little thumbs up. 4 or 5 people. Fantastic. If anybody's stuck, let me know, because I don't want anybody to be stuck. But we will be progressing here shortly. So menti.com. And we are going to kick it off once you're in there, just so that we can kind of have a little bit of just an experience of what it is. And I'd like to ask, what is your biggest challenge with social media campaigns? Let me know in Menti, and you'll have a spot where you can kind of input your response. Let me know what would be your biggest challenge with social media campaigns. Now, this is all live. It doesn't show who you are, so it's anonymous, but what would those challenges be? And if you're like, gauging success on return on investment, that's a great one. Any other biggest challenges? Lack of time and expertise. Fantastic. Designing a visually appealing graphic. Oh, that's a good one too. Reaching the right audience. These are great things today for us to be able to go through. Does anybody else want to share? If you're not in Menti as well, feel free. I am watching the chat, so we can see there as well. Being new to marketing and not having enough time during the tour season to focus on social media. Also working 2 other jobs. You're full, you're busy. AI is actually a fantastic way to be able to do a lot of heavy lifting. We're only going to cover one part here today, but I encourage you to stay connected with me, and we can kind of try to help you along as well. Another question in Menti. Are you using AI tools for your business? Is anyone here? And if so, what are you using? Or we'll get to that one next. We've got a lot of, I'm a dabbler, I'm actively using. Is there anybody that's like a no, absolutely not? No, we seem to have like I'm interested in learning how AI can help, not using it yet. Fantastic. So thank you everyone for contributing. Nice job at getting in. Now we can see that there's a lot of dabblers, and this is fantastic because we've started something. And even if you haven't started something, I'm hoping today that I'm going to open it up so that you can realize that they're right at your fingertips. Oftentimes we just don't know where to see them. So which tools are you using? For the people that are the dabblers, the ones that are using it actively, this is a big intersection, but what are you using currently so that everybody in this presentation can get some better ideas? Maybe they can look at it. ChatGPT, Meta, fantastic. ChatGPT, we're going to probably see a lot of forerunners with ChatGPT. ChatGPT is often used, probably the most, because it's very diverse as well. We've got some Gemini in there, Grammarly, Copilot, Grok, fantastic. If you're new to AI technology and all these names seem like a blur, absolutely don't worry. We're not going to try to overwhelm you today. Thanks for sharing. It helps me kind of understand where your ad as well. Now, what we're going to be covering here today is, why analyze social media? Really, like why are we going to be even why are we even going to bother with that? Another thing is why does AI matter? Like, why do we need to really look into, using AI tools, and how can we start to simplify our efforts with this? What AI tools can we use? Like, how can we get started today? Because oftentimes people are like, Melissa, I just want to kind of dig in and find out what it is. And then finally, I'm going to leave you with simple action plans that are going to help you get started today. So no matter where you are in your social media campaign journey. So hopefully that is a lot of stuff that we're going to cover. We're going to move through it. We're going to save some time for the end where we're going to open it up, and then you can ask any questions at all. And if there's something that we don't get to, I'll do my best to be able to guide you in the right direction. So last question I'm on to you for now. I'm going to give you a little bit of a rest. What type of social media campaigns are you running specifically? So for the people that are actually running them, what kind of campaigns are you running? And this could be things like, are they promotional offers? Maybe it's an event announcement. Maybe it's a seasonal package. What kind of campaigns are you running, or what would you like to run? Anybody want to share? Visitation. Okay. Boosted post promotions. Fantastic. Ads mainly for tours that you're offering. You want to run some winter campaigns, event package promotions. Okay, fantastic. Things to see and do. So highlighting events in that area. That's great. Well, these are your kind of your whys and like what you're trying to achieve. Contests. That's a great one. And general promotion for the area. Thank you for sharing. Well, what we do know is if you've been running campaigns, they don't always go as well as what we hope. So even if we're like, wow, we put this fantastic, campaign together, not everyone will perform equally as well. So without analyze what's working, you're investing in time and budget into campaigns that maybe you're missing your target audience completely. And I want you to think about this. So if you have launched a campaign and you think it's perfect, but you got minimal response, how does that feel? Or maybe you're doing a promotional campaign that's driving bookings, but you know what? Others barely got noticed. You have other campaigns going. So you're not alone if you actually feel this way. We do know that, especially in your industry, when we step back, that tourism industry often struggles with campaigns specific to, say, seasonal timing. Knowing when or to really launch that campaign for maximum impact. We have campaign messaging, really creating offers that stand out in a crowded marketplace. People that are using AI like ChatGPT or a large language model, fantastic way to be able to create a lot of unique and engaging content for your campaign messaging. Resource allocation, really deciding which campaigns deserve more budget and which ones are you going to pause. So before we dive deeper, though, I do want to explain and help you understand how AI fits into campaign management. That's really important because all we're hearing is AI right now. But AI really, there's a lot of confusion around it. And without going too far into it, AI simply is technology that helps computers and machines act and think like humans. And so what it can do is it can follow basic rules where it can answer questions. It can learn and adapt and spot patterns in your campaigns. It can make decisions like maybe suggesting the best audience for your ad, which is, I know that was brought up earlier, what somebody was looking for. And how AI improves campaigns is really down to, it will look at performance insights. It will look at timing suggestions. It will go into content analysis. It will even look at basic audience info and simple trends. So I always like to say, think of AI as your campaign analysis or your campaign optimization expert, because it is monitoring your campaigns. It is tracking how people are interacting with your posts, like your clicks, your shares, your bookings. And the great thing is that it actually is working in real time. So instead of waiting for your campaign to be over, which oftentimes we used to do in the past, AI is actually giving you insights into what's happening. So maybe it's an example of like your early bird booking campaign performs better on Instagram than Facebook, Or maybe you add videos to your package promotion, and guess what? You found out that it doubles your engagement. So think of AI is here to not replace you. It's here to make you smarter and here to help you make faster decisions in your business. It's that behind the scenes assistant. And it's working 24/7. It's like the campaign manager that's never sleeping. It's just constantly analyzing, it's spotting trends, it's giving you suggestions to improve your results. So that's really exciting for all of us business owners, and especially even if we're a solopreneur, again, time and resources is often it's very, we don't always have enough. So knowing that we have a tool and tools to help us is wonderful. Now, I want to kind of give you a little bit of a real world example. Let's say you're running multiple campaigns. I've actually picked this picture. It's the Cape Dior Lighthouse. Really, I put it there because I'd love to go there one day in terms of a spot. But if you're running, say, an early booking discount, or maybe it's a weekend getaway package and a family holiday promotion, AI can really help you uncover that maybe that family holiday campaign, it generated 3 times more conversions when you target past guests during the school holiday planning period. So that's how it's starting to give you insights. And when you have these types of insights, you can then start to fine tune your audience targeting and then also time to get maximum results. So you know when to kind of be able to put your campaigns together, where this saves you money and it also increases your bookings. So I'm hoping that this first part, it just gives you a better idea of why we analyze and why AI is a great tool to use. Now, let's see next, well, where do we find these tools, Melissa? Great, fantastic. I want to share a couple of different things. But first, let's jump into Menti. Who here is using Meta Business Suites? I saw some Meta, but who here is not at all, occasionally, all the time? Occasionally, not at all, fantastic. Anybody else jump on into Menti all the time? Okay, so we've got neck and neck, occasionally and all the time, and not at all. Anybody else? Before we go through, we are going to highlight actually Meta Business Suite because it's right at our fingertips, which is really helpful. So thank you again for kind of engaging in that. Meta Business Suites, they have built-in AI tools to help you improve your Facebook and Instagram campaigns already. And since it's already connected to your account, your personal account, you don't need to set up anything. So it works automatically to give you those actionable insights. And I want to share a little bit more around Meta's tools and how businesses are using this to achieve meaningful results. The way it works is Meta's AI, it's like a student and it's learning to excel in a subject. So when you launch a new ad campaign, it goes through what we call a learning phase. And this is a period where Meta's AI, it's observing how people are responding to your ad. It's figuring out, well, who's most likely to engage with it, what kinds of content drives the best results, and how to deliver your ad more efficiently. Now, what a lot of people don't know, and because there's so much hype around AI, everybody wants it to do instant things all the time, which is fantastic. But what's really important is for Meta, in order for it to graduate from this learning phase that we're talking about, the AI needs enough data to make confident decisions. So Meta recommends getting at least 50 conversions, as mentioned, per week for the AI to fully understand your campaign and to optimize it properly. Now, what is a conversion? Just to make sure we're all on the same page, it's a specific action that users take on your website or your app. And it can include purchasing, signing up for a newsletter, that's a conversion, or maybe it's adding something to their cart, like they've booked if you're an Airbnb, you've booked a spot. But the conversion, it must be attributed to your actual ad. So it's basically learning on all this data. And a lot of the time, again, if you're new to AI technology and AI tools, AI does best when it has lots and lots of data. And I do like to think about when, again, taking it kind of at the AI idea as a chef perfecting a new recipe, the first few times, as a chef, you're experimenting with different ingredients and cooking methods. But after making the dish 50 times, guess what? That chef has learned what works best so they can consistently deliver amazing results. Well, Meta's AI works the exact same way. It needs those 50 tries or conversions to figure out the perfect way to show your ads. And so I'm going to show you some tangible successes from businesses using Meta AI analytics tools. And I am going to show you inside of Meta, just so you're like, Melissa, this is like, okay, I don't know where it is. Don't worry, we're going to get there. But I want to show with regards to paid ads. And we will talk about if you're not using paid ads in just a moment as well. But this is a company. I don't have right now all the data on tours specific companies. This technically is a suitcase company. It's a Vancouver-based luggage brand, so it's part of a tourism type of initiative. They were able to basically achieve a 58% decrease in incremental cost per purchase because AI was working on specifically they had the data coming in and they could reshuffle things, they could rechange ads, and I'll explain this in a minute. And they then saw a 35% increase in incremental return on ad spend. So instead of wasting a whole bunch of money on things that were actually not converting, AI was basically making sure that these people knew where to basically spend their time and their effort. Now, another example of a company, totally different, but it's important to kind of be able to see what people are achieving with this, is Jenny Bird, who is a women's jewelry brand. And what they experienced is a 14% lower cost per purchase compared to standard campaigns because of what AI was basically unearthing. And then they noticed a 17% increase in conversions. Now, I don't want to go too crazy into the math, I don't want to kind of like make everybody, feel overwhelmed today, but I want you to kind of, let's connect this to your ad budget. So if this costs you $10 to get one conversion, you're going to need 50 conversions per week. So that's times 10 per conversion, which is a $500 weekly budget. Why is this important? Because if you do not give AI enough data, it might not be able to learn what works best, and your ads won't perform as well as they could. Now, if you're like, oh my gosh, Melissa, like you've stressed me out. I don't have $500 a week. This is way past my budget. Don't worry. You can still run smaller campaigns to test the waters. You absolutely can. You can start with lower budgets to see what works. And as you gain confidence and as you see some of the insights, which I'm going to show you in Meta, you can start to scale up to reach that 50 conversion threshold. And as a small business, instead of optimizing, say, for conversions like purchases every single time, you can optimize for link clicks, maybe engagement, or maybe it's like getting them to a landing page to view. Those are all conversions. And these actions typically cost less, and they can still help you build data for future campaigns. So as you gather more data and grow your audience, you can absolutely transition to conversion-focused campaigns. So the key takeaway here is Meta's AI is like your partner in optimizing ads. You do need enough information so that can do its job really well. And once it's learned your ads, or once it's learned, your ads are going to perform better. So I'm going to dive right in here. I'm going to go into Meta Business Suites. You're going to notice, and again, because we don't have much time today, we're going to kind of cover this at a high level. There's an Insights tab. And in the Insights tab, you'll be able to see there's a content area, but what you're seeing here on the screen is basically how well, and basically the reach and basically compared to what is your reach, where is it kind of getting to people, and when, what posts would be attributed to that. And you can get really granular when you're in here, because you can actually look at like timing insights. So this is where you would discover, again, on that side panel in Insights, about your audience specifically. Your audience, well, when is the audience most active? When is it recommending the best time to post? Maybe your followers are more likely to book when you post a campaign between 7 and 8 p.m. on Sundays. I know, as a real example, a local B&B wanted more mid-week bookings, so they let Meta's AI analyze their posts and discover their food photos, that basically they got more engagement on Wednesdays. And so how they took this insight is that they took what they knew and then they created a weekday foodie special. So again, going into insights and kind of going into the audience section of this, or as I mentioned, just being able to kind of see where the reach was, what, how many people actually saw it. They're all really important parts in here. AI is working in the background as well with Meta. Now, you can also do wonderful things, and this is where AI is fantastic, where it's organizing your followers into group based on their behaviors or interests or demographics. So maybe it's outdoor adventurers versus luxury travelers. You can go again in the audience, you can kind of dig further, and it will be able to provide you more reporting based on that. You can also go into insights, where if you clicked on results, this is where you can optimize ads in real time. So again, the AI monitors your ads as they run and make adjustments if something's not working. So for example, if one ad isn't getting many clicks, it can swap it out for a better performing ad without you needing to intervene, which is pretty handy. And this is free, and this is using AI to predict basically what you're doing in the back end. So I highly recommend spending some time. If you're on Facebook, there's some fantastic features in here, but don't let this overwhelm you, because you're not going to go do all of this today. Maybe you're going to spend one you'll go into one area and really kind of dig into it further. There's also paying tools, just so you know, and I'm going to share a few tools with you today from a paying perspective, which can make your life a lot easier as well. Now, the next one is content suggestions. And I always find this is really interesting, because AI is really good at analyzing your posts and telling what's working best. So maybe it's your behind the scenes tours video got 2 times more engagement than professional photos. Facebook is using AI in the algorithm specifically, but it's when you go into that content area in insights, you're going to be able to see what's working really well for your audience. So I highly recommend, as a way to analyze and to go, ooh, I know I need to do more of, I would highly recommend going into this one area as well. And if you're not familiar with Meta Business Suites, again, sign in with your Facebook account, link to your business page, and on that left-hand side, you'll be able to find insights. Now, there's other things and other companies, of course, that can help us analyze our campaigns, or just being able to get more insights into what's working and what's driving people. And so if you're familiar with Google Analytics, specifically what we say GA4, Google Analytics 4, there's now new ability inside of this to have access to generative AI features in your merchant center. And if you're like, oh gosh, I don't even go into analytics, or maybe you do, I'm just going to, again, try to help you familiarize a little bit, where on that right-hand side, I'm so glad that Facebook and Google Analytics called it the same thing. It's called Insights. So this is another super smart friend who could point out really interesting patterns about your website visitors. And that's exactly what AI-powered insights do. So what they're doing is analyzing your website traffic, flagging unusual changes and patterns. So maybe an example is they might notice more visitors are coming from a specific city, or maybe they see a spike in activity at a certain time of day. So you're able to get that intel and insight as well. And what this helps with is just being able to give a clearer picture of what your audience behavior is, and how you can help spot trends that you might otherwise miss. And there's quite a few different features in here, where one of them is called predictive analytics. And again, just imagine that super smart friend that also can predict the future. With predictive analytics, GA4 analyzes the customer behavior, and then it decides, okay, I'm going to make an educated guess on what might happen next. So for example, it might predict the visitors who are landing on a specific product page of yours, are more likely to return and make a purchase. So Google Analytics is, collecting the event data so that it can learn from past interactions, and then it's forecasting future actions, which is helping you anticipate your customer needs. Now, just like Meta, it needs data. And that's why everybody's like, oh gosh, more data. You need 1,000 positive or negative samples in Google Analytics. And what this means is you need purchasers and you need churned users. So that's confirmed buyers and confirmed buyers. And that helps train the model properly. Now, again, not to be overwhelmed with feeling, well, I don't have all that traffic yet. This is really important to kind of understand how AI works. And when you're frustrated, or if you're like, well, it's not doing what I want it to do, sometimes it comes down to, again, understanding that data. Do you have enough, and how can you kind of build towards that? Another thing in Google Analytics is being able to just learn more again about just how much people are spending. Again, if you're on Shopify, you've got a product, or if you've got, depending on what your backend is, a lot of time AI analytics is really helping to predict revenue or user percentile. So there's some really interesting things to dig in here today. Or, I mean, again, because we only have a short period of time, we could probably spend a whole webinar on one thing. But as a tip, because we're talking about campaigns, to get the most from AI analysis, specifically in Google Analytics, you want to use your UTM tracking link in your campaign so that you can connect that. So you can connect Google Analytics to your Facebook campaigns so that you can gain those extra insights into your user behavior and campaign performance. Now, next is something that I saw a lot of people say that they use, which is great, ChatGPT. Now, this is another area that, okay, you're looking for some campaign analysis. If you pay the $20 a month user fee for ChatGPT, you can use it to analyze your campaigns. Now, again, you need data. You need data for this, but I'm going to show you like a little sample. When you're inside of Meta and Facebook, you are able to go in and create a custom report. It's a report tab. And you can go and basically decide on all the different things that you want to kind of get from your report. And you, on the right-hand side, is where you would normally click it. And so maybe it's your key performance indicators are, you want to look at impressions, or maybe you want to look at clicks. Maybe you want to look at your CPC, which is your cost per click, or maybe your ROAS, return on ad spend. So you can click all these things. And then the great thing is, if you look up on the right-hand corner, you can export that. And that becomes like essentially an Excel sheet. And just so you know, you can be really, really refined. Like, just say that you want to do it from January 1st to January 31st. You absolutely can pick that as well. You can see that you can select that when you're wanting to customize your report. So you would download this, and I'm going to kind of stop sharing this screen in just a minute. I'm going to show you how to do it. But if you opened up ChatGPT and you put in a prompt, and this is not a perfect prompt, but this is like, again, you can take a screen capture of it if you wish. You are an expert Facebook ads and campaign analyst with years of experience optimizing campaigns across various industries. I'm providing you with my ad performance data and need your expert analysis and actionable recommendations. Basically, I'm like, I don't know how to do it, so I want you to do it, ChatGPT. And so what you would do is you would upload your file. So if you can see at the bottom, it's upload your file. If I have some time after, I'm going to show you here. Actually, let me go out. Can everybody, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to go in here and give you a live demo. I think we have time. So can everybody see ChatGPT right now? Give me a yes in the chat, and I will try to expand this so you can see. Right.
Yes, people.
So, yep, fantastic. So I'm going to just kind of copy and paste a prompt in. It doesn't even have to be this elaborate. I want to upload. So I'm going to press my plus button, upload from computer. I'm going to go find, I created a very basic data set that came from, it was from Facebook ads. And then I'm going to go open. And then I'm going to press the arrow because I want it to look at this content. Now, okay, so it's analyzing. It's right at the bottom. It's basically looking at the file. It's analyzing. And what it's going to give me, and I'm just going to give it a minute. Actually, Facebook's been a little tiny bit slower in the last 24 hours, I have noticed. But what it's going to give me is an expert analysis of the Facebook ads in terms of how it performed. And it's going to, it will go through a whole bunch of different things based on key metrics, you know, your click-through rate, your cost per click. That picked up the data from what I actually kind of connected to on when I was downloading my report in Meta. But you can start to see, like, it's actually telling you really useful information. It's saying what it knows. And then at the end, what you're going to see is it's going to provide some actionable recommendations. Now, this is kind of handy because you don't have to sit there and think about, what do I do with this data? It's telling you, okay, scale up winning at campaigns, increase your budget on Black Friday deals in the United States and Canada, because they show the highest CTR and conversion rates. So it's also telling you to say pause and refine the end of year promo in the UK, because guess what? You're not getting enough return on investment. So you can get really granular, and you can keep asking questions, you know, in the chat, you know, area, if you want to get more granular and just kind of figure out how you can kind of use this data in a meaningful way. So I hope that that helps people see that there's a lot of potential in even AI tools like ChatGPT. It's fantastic for analyzing data. So I'm going to just go right back to this screen. And thank you for your patience while we get back over there. And we'll put the presentation back on here. All right. So there we go. You see, that's a question you can ask. Can you break down the performance by age, gender? I mean, you can get into things that are very, very, very granular. So that's $20 a month. You can analyze your campaigns that way. There is other things. And again, this is not to try to add too many things to your plate, but Hootsuite. You know, Hootsuite is a fantastic, you are paying a fee. And so I do have to say, this is where we get into, there's free ones within Meta. We kind of graduate to say ChatGPT, we go into Hootsuite. Hootsuite's between $99 and $249. What is great about Hootsuite and a lot of other, you know, companies, they can bring in their dashboard and all the AI tools in one spot. So that's really just handy. It's all your campaign data in one place. You're not kind of going into different areas. So it will import active campaigns from, say, Facebook, and it will bring it into this main kind of area. It will look at new ad campaigns. It will set up, you know, and you can launch Facebook and Instagram ad campaigns without ever leaving Hootsuite. So again, it's that convenience, and it does monitor and track metrics like your impressions, your clicks, your conversions. So it does help you kind of really feel, you know, go into, okay, what are the best times? What's working best? Another thing that it has is social listening. And social listening is a process of using artificial intelligence to just monitor social media and channels, maybe for mentions of specific topics, such as maybe your brand or your product. And social listening will then analyze those conversions to unearth insights, and then, you know, look at your brand reputation. It will give you industry trends, and it will give you consumer behavior patterns at a real much like a lot deeper level. So it's truly listening to what's going online and what's happening. Now, you can use what's great about this, again, is that you can just use across multiple platforms, especially if you're there. But I always say, if there's a free trial, always start with a free trial with these all of these types of companies, just so that you can kind of get a sense of, is it worth the investment for your business? Most people do get started with Meta Business because it does have quite a bit of stuff in there. So you might be going, well, okay, Melissa, well, you gave me all this information. I'm feeling a little bit unsure. Where do I start with AI tools for your business? Well, not to worry, because I'm going to break this down into some steps. And you don't have to remember these steps, because guess what? I've given you an AI-powered campaign analysis getting started. I think that's going to be right inside of, and maybe somebody from tourism can kind of highlight it's going to be inside that Digiport. Is that correct? Or is this going to get sent out to everybody? Feel free to unmute yourself, and if we'll catch it at the end if we need to. But what it is, it's an AI-powered campaign analysis getting started booklet for you, and it's all fillable. It's really easy. It's going to take you through some of these steps so that you can get started. But the first step is, it's really important to just define your goal. What's the most important thing for you right now? AI, it works best when it knows what to focus on. Yes, I showed you lots of different things today, but let's kind of take a like, what is the problem we're trying to solve? Do you want more weekend bookings? Are you aiming to improve more off-season rates? Are you looking to attract more international visitors? What is that goal? Next, you want to identify your metrics. So your metrics allow you to measure progress and refine that strategy effectively. So are you trying to, have a more engagement rate? Are you trying to increase your click-through rate? Are you trying to get more impressions? Are you trying to do conversions, follower growth? Or is there something else that you're trying to achieve? It's really important to not get overwhelmed by, oh my gosh, there's all these things. What are you trying to identify within those metrics? So then you know where to go. The next thing is understanding the role of AI tools. Well, just understanding what AI tools can help you do. That's what they're here to do. That's what they're here to do. They're here to identify top performing campaigns. Are they here to improve your audience targeting? Are they here to generate content ideas for you? Is it here to analyze your data for maybe actionable insights so you can kind of tailor it further? Understand what that role of whatever the AI tool that you're going to be using, or intelligence. And what I like to break it down, if it's for marketing, use Meta Business Suite, because it's free. You can analyze campaign performance. You can discover what's working best. You've got lots of information in there. If you're looking for audience insights, Google Analytics, especially the newest one, is fantastic, so that you can track those website trends, and just to understand really your customers' behavior better. If you're trying to save time, you're like, I don't know what to do with this data, absolutely try ChatGPT Plus. It's that $20 a month. And then you can kind of play with that. And it's, again, very amazing, because when we used to go way back when, we'd have to go through all these spreadsheets, and it would take people and specialists in this area, if you had one thing, it would be, oh my gosh, I'm looking between 5 hours and 27 hours a week, if they're highly, like, that's all their job is in terms of looking at very specific pieces in the spreadsheets. Well, now you can just upload and you can ask your questions. It's like having again, somebody to analyze your data for you right there and then. And then for automation and just being able to have everything all in one spot to optimize everything, things like Hootsuite are great. So the takeaway here is that AI is, oh, I forgot one more step. I apologize. Of course, you want to analyze your campaign performance once you've decided what tool. When you're inside that book, it's going to walk you through those steps. So don't worry about trying to remember this all. But your key takeaways are that AI is here to help analyze your campaigns. It's not here to complicate them. And if I can do this, absolutely you can do this. This is a really unique time in what I say history, because AI is helping us do more and more. And even just with the user interface and accessing the information in terms of what AI is presenting, it's getting easier to be able to follow as well. Start with tools that you already have. So did you learn something extra from Facebook, Meta today? Go in and just really pay attention to that for the next week. Again, I've got some measurable pieces in that workbook that you can follow. Focus on that one goal, one platform. I see too many people going, oh my gosh, I want to do it all. There's so many things. And really kind of just let AI spot patterns and be able to make suggestions for you. That's what it's there for. And take small steps to build from there. So every day from now on as well, there's going to be more opportunities for you. So just the very fact that you showed up today and you were open to saying, well, how can I get AI, or how does AI analyze, my campaigns, or what can I look for? I'm hoping this gives you a little bit better just knowledge of what's already out there. And if you're using, say, a CRM, there's again a lot of things that you're already using, they're being built into the back end. So just be curious, but don't try to put too many things on your plate right away. Now, I do want to say as well, I know we may not get through all the questions here today, but my mission is to make sure that no one is left behind and to be able to help build that confidence with AI, specifically with mindset and education. So I absolutely invite you to the Agility Hub community. It's being able, it's helping you to learn how AI can help your business. It's a place to ask questions, learn from others. I will put it in the chat. I also want to let you know that I know we didn't cover, somebody had mentioned in the Menti, they mentioned about even just content creation. So there is in Canva, it's Magic Studio, there's ways for you to create visuals and do almost A and B testing inside of Canva, if that's what you're using, so that you can see which one might be a better fit, or in terms of it would have higher conversion. So AI is working in the back end of Canva. Or if you're doing the content piece, you can go into ChatGPT. So I hope that today was helpful. It was insightful. I am going to be opening up for questions. I do want to say before we do, we're going to do two things. Feel free to take a screen capture so you can stay connected with me. The Digiport resource is fantastic. So absolutely go in there. And I'm going to just take 30 seconds just to let me know how you felt with today, things went in terms of the content that was supplied and how was it helpful? Have you learned a little bit more? Are you feeling more confident with AI? So it's called Senja. All you have to do is put in, say, let's take 30 seconds just to say how you felt about today. And then we're going to open it up for questions. When you're ready, I'm going to get Nick to take over the screen as well.
Everybody's just going to click the link, the Senja link. Is that correct?
Yeah, you just click the link and let me know how. I'm always wanting to make sure that, and I know that you guys are always on the cusp for making sure that you got the right content. I like to know that I'm doing a great job in terms of being able to present information. So if you can fill in 30 seconds of how you felt, that would be fantastic. And then we will dive into some questions. Okay, you can't get the feedback page. Don't even worry about it. Not a problem. I'm so happy to hear that it was a useful session. Does anybody want to open up their microphones and ask anything? Again, I know this is broad today. I may not be able to go too technical today, but try. You can certainly try me. Okay, we have a question. The Excel stuff blew my mind a bit. Absolutely. It usually does. A lot of time people as well don't realize how great ChatGPT can be at analyzing information. Are there any drawbacks to putting info into ChatGPT? Privacy, does it become accessible to anyone? So the biggest thing in ChatGPT or any what we call large language model is it's very important to not put in private information. And what I mean by this is things that would be for clients or things that would link to that you don't feel comfortable people knowing. But I find with things like campaign analysis and spend and things like that, for me, that I'm very okay with that putting into ChatGPT. The way that ChatGPT works in terms of you can turn off training, just so you know, in your settings of ChatGPT. So then it doesn't do anything with the data. Ultimately, it's going into one big melting pot. It's not saying, okay, Jenny, you've just done this campaign. I know exactly what you did. It's not getting granular like that. It's training on all the information so that it can provide useful information back to people. But I do always say, do not put in anything that you're not comfortable with. That is a benchmark. Stuff like this with analyzing data, I personally do not have a problem with.
Melissa,
Mhm.
a follow up to that, like, and this is probably not for today's discussion, but like, how, like, makes me think, like, maybe, like, why am I comfortable writing all my important information in Google and Gmail? Like, is that different? You know what I mean? Like, I'm putting all my private personal information into emails to people. Is it safer? Like, how does that work?
So that's a good question. Ultimately, all our data is able to be seen in some way,
Right.
unless you're putting it behind major firewalls, like when we get into banking and things like that. And I do even like to say with ChatGPT, just so you know, as you go up in the tiers, so say you're at an enterprise level, say you have a company, and I've got
Yeah.
lots of small companies that are using enterprise, they have more security. That they're not, it's not being trained on any of their data. They're paying for it to be fully like privatized. So it's not different in the way that we just don't know how people use data. We don't know how they're going to use it at the end of the road. So we always have to be cautious. But
Right.
Google, I mean, yes, they can read your emails. So nobody's safe. You know what I mean? In that way, that's why I'm always very cautious to know, okay, what am I putting in? Am I comfortable with that? You know, again, if I have a phone, it knows a lot of data about me. Which parts am I comfortable with? So hopefully that was a little bit more intelligence in a brief way to say that, again, unless you're paying for mega security, um, your data is open to be able to be seen in some way.
Perfect. So a gentleman, Roderick, asked, if you turn off training, does it affect the quality of the analysis?
No, no, not that I'm not. And again, I can dig into that further. Not that I am aware of. I've done a lot of analysis, even in turning that training mode off. One thing, if you turn your training mode off, if you're using ChatGPT and you've got all this history and you're wanting to be really efficient because it's learned off of, you know, your previous data
Yeah.
or your previous conversations, it won't remember it in the same way. It's hit and miss. And so it's almost like I feel like it's like, oh well, if you turn that off, you can toggle it on and off at any point, but just know when it's toggled off, it may not remember all the conversations before. So if you're like a high user and you're using it for a lot of different ways, that can impact the way that you're working with it. But in terms of uploading spreadsheets and being able to analyze the data, no, it doesn't. It in my experience, I've not seen any. Even if I ask many different questions, it doesn't deteriorate the information. Was that helpful? I keep forgetting that you lovely people are in chat and I can't chat with you. So just let me know if you've got any more questions.
It
I
was
will.
super helpful.
Great.
Super helpful. Great info. Yeah, I think
Fantastic.
this is an excellent session, and luckily it's available to view for our internal coaching for anyone that wants to check it after the fact. So um, I'd like to see hundreds of people on this webinar because it's such valuable information, but we'll make sure that we share it out to all of our partners after the fact. So if there's any other questions, everyone's throwing me for a loop because I put my questions in the chat. So
Well, and also this is for everyone that's here today. It's just being more educated around what is out there for you, and also it's constantly evolving. So, you know, if we had this in 6 months time from today, I'd be showing you a lot of different things because technology is moving at a rapid pace. So the biggest takeaway that I can say today is just start and start small. Just start and get more confidence in this. It's really mind blowing how your mind expands as you start. But
that's
thank
true.
you, everyone.
Your presentations have I mean, from the first ones we started was basically like just basic prompts and just kind of starting to get your feet wet. So it's crazy to see how it's growing. So I'm going to, if anyone has any questions or anything pops up after the fact, send it to us. We'll get it to Melissa. You can book. Are you a one-on-one presenter, Melissa? Not present.
Yes,
So if you can book Melissa for an hour on Digiport. So I'm just gonna take back over. Thank you, Melissa. If
my
anybody has any
pleasure. Thank you.
questions, let us know. And can you guys see my screen? Can you guys see my screen?
Yes,
Okay,
I can see
perfect.
your screen.
Alrighty. All right. Thanks, Melissa. Have a good day.
Thank you, everybody. It was great to be here.
So I hope you found today's webinar valuable. A lot of really great information for your business. Our next webinar is Thursday, March 6th at 10 a.m. We always try to have them on Thursday mornings. And it's easy to use Facebook and Instagram automation using ManyChat. So that will be with Riley Foreman and Connor Kidd from Connect Media. Riley has presented to us before and through Connect Media, and it's always engaging, learned lots. This webinar and all of our previous webinars are available in Digiport, but also on tourismns.ca/webinars-series. If you'd like to send us an email, have some ideas on some areas you'd like to focus on in a webinar, send us an email at tnsbusiness@novascotia.ca. Our corporate website is tourismns.ca. You can find us on our consumer website, novascotia.com. That's where our call to action is. All of our marketing sends people to novascotia.com. Our news and resources section, where any of our webinars, important program information, any relevant industry data is at Tourism NS News and Resources. We are on Twitter at Tourism NS, and we are also on LinkedIn as Tourism Nova Scotia. Thank you for joining us today and hope you have a wonderful day.